biology. It's a little different here. Unfortunately, in regular class, you can't mute me, but here you can, or pause me or rewind me if you have questions that I don't get to. We're going to review the stages of mitosis in the cell cycle. We're going to review the information so you can do your first e-learning assignment. So we're going to go through what we talked about the last couple weeks with the cell cycle. We're going to start with our chromosomes. So chromosomes, if we remember, are where our DNA is. DNA is the code for proteins. It tells us who we are and what we are. It's all of those genetic traits. So we have the first thing that is called chromatin. So chromatin is when the DNA looks like spaghetti. Most of the time, the chromatin is like this in the nucleus until the DNA needs to replicate and until there is going to be cell division. So once there's going to be cell division, and we will talk about that in the next couple days, the signals for cell division, then we go into chromosomes. And for our chromosomes, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. We have two types. We have our unduplicated, and then we have our duplicated chromosomes. So I made the unduplicated one tiny, and unfortunately the duplicated one gigantic. In the middle, we have the centromere, and then on the sides, we have the sister chromatids. Now remember, the sister chromatids, those are identical. So anything that we have right here, so if we have, this is the code for brown eyes, on this side, it's going to be the code for brown eyes. So when we have that mitosis, when we have the division of the nucleus, the sister chromatids are going to pull apart, so each new daughter cell will have the exact same traits. Remember, in mitosis, you want to have two identical daughter cells. The next thing that we're going to go in and we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about why do cells replicate? Why do we need more cells? So there's two main reasons. If we think about it, when a human or any organism is born, it starts as one cell, right? There's the sperm, the egg, they meet in fertilization, and it's only a one-celled organism. But today, if you look at yourself or any other organism, they are mostly multicellular organisms when we think of an animal or an organism or plant. So they're multicellular. So you don't just stay one giant cell, you need more cells to multiply. So the first is growth and development. That's the first reason that we need to undergo mitosis. The second is for cell repair. So when you get injured or hurt, if you get a cut, a scratch, the body needs to heal and repair itself. So what's going to happen is cells are going to undergo mitosis. If you have a scratch on yourself, that scratch isn't going to stay open forever. It's going to eventually heal. So those are the two reasons that we've talked about why cells undergo mitosis. We're going to now go into the part of the cell cycle that we've really focused on. So the first part of our cell cycle, and we're going to actually draw that together, is interphase. In interphase, this is the part of the cell cycle that lasts the longest. It is also the part of the cell cycle that the cell does its job. So if you're a muscle cell, you're going to be lifting things, you're going to be contracting. If you're the heart cell, you're pumping blood. If you're the small intestine, you are extracting nutrients. It also is going to grow. So the cell starts small, it's going to get bigger. When we looked at this in our onion root lab, you just seen it as a dark center. So you really don't see much. You just kind of see that DNA in the center. You see the nuclear membrane. That's it. I'm going to take photos of this and you'll be able to see it a little bit more clearly. The next phase that we talk about is our first step is prophase. So a good way to remember this is prototype. Prototype is always your first run. So prototype, prophase, prototype, I always get them to remember each other. So our nucleus dissolves, our nuclear envelope is going to disintegrate. We also are going to have, I want to make sure I can spell this right. We have our chromosomes coiling up. And then we have our spindle fibers forming. And remember, when we are in prophase, our chromosomes are already duplicated, so they're already in that X shape. So again, we have this for prophase. Our nuclear envelope is dissolving, we have our centrosomes and our spindle fibers, and we are ready for our chromosomes to start moving. Our next phase is metaphase. Metaphase is when they go to meet in the middle. So I always remember metaphase, middle. So we're going to draw our cell again. There's no nucleus, remember that. So our chromosomes are in the middle, still in the shape of an X. And the spindle fibers that attach to the centromeres are what moved them in the middle. So our chromosomes just start to line up. And then our next phase that we have is anaphase. Anaphase is where our chromatids, not our chromosomes that are in X, our actual chromatids are going to start to separate to opposite poles, to opposite sides of the chromosome, the cell. All right, so we have our metaphase, we have our chromosomes lined up in the middle metaphase, then we have our anaphase, our chromosomes are pulled away from each other. And then our final stage in mitosis is telophase. So telophase is, the best way I remember it is it's the opposite of prophase. So whatever happened in prophase, the opposite happens in telophase. Sorry, my dog really wanted his squeaky toy thrown. So we're going to draw our cell, and if our nuclear envelope dissolved in prophase, it's going to come back in telophase. So our nucleus starts to reform. Let's write that down in our notes. The next thing that's going to happen is, now that our nucleus is there, our chromosomes are going to uncoil. So they're going from chromosomes back to chromatin. And we basically have our two new nuclei forming. And also we added our spindle fibers, so those spindle fibers are going to disappear. So we just have something like this. It's still one cell. It's really key to remember. It's still one cell. So remember that mitosis isn't the splitting of the cell. Mitosis is the splitting of a nucleus. It's really key to remember that. Mitosis is the splitting of a nucleus. Not the cell, not the cytoplasm, not the organelles, just the nucleus. Because then when we have the last stage, this guy is called cytokinesis. And cytokinesis is, sounds like cytoplasm. Cytokinesis is the splitting of the cytoplasm. This is the splitting of the two cells. So what we see here is we see that we're going to pinch the two cells right in the middle. We have two new daughter cells. So in mitosis, our main goal is to start with one cell with how many of her chromosomes and end up with two daughter cells that are absolutely identical. You're replacing a cell that's damaged or broken, or you're growing. whatever the number of chromosomes are, it's really important that they're the same exact number. If you have any questions, I can email you your PowerPoint notes. You should already be shared on it, so you can still access those if you have questions. And if you need anything else, just email me or message me on Remind. The next video that you see, you will be able to check in with me to go over your homework for today. All right, good luck, guys.